Sheila, what is the impetus to move this forward when there is such strong pushback in the Senate and the likelihood of it getting past that pushback?
Well, Sonali, I think that for us, this represents the most significant response to industry calls for regulation and regulatory clarity that we've seen. This bill, as Kaylee noted, has been around for quite some time, kicking around, and it is groundbreaking. It is absolutely groundbreaking and looks to solve problems that have been talked about for quite some time. So our view, I think, as industry actors, is if we're not going to support something that addresses things in a way that we've been looking for, what are we going to support, right? The politics of this are really complicated, as Kaylee also noted, extremely complicated. But in our view, this does have bipartisan support. We are seeing an unprecedented collaboration between the Ag Committee, the Financial Services Committee, and a true bipartisan push from many folks across the aisle to get this thing across the line, particularly in the House.
Sheila, I'm curious about the polling that you have either internally or that you've referred to internally, and to what extent exactly voters actually care about crypto. So what can you tell us whether or not they actually care about this?
Yeah, Tim. So I think, people vote or don't vote for many reasons. Okay. And I do think that crypto holders tend to be voters. And so when we have actually polled likely voters, so we don't poll just like every, random Tom, Dick, and Harry, we poll likely voters. And overwhelmingly, they are in favor of crypto regulation here in the United States at the federal level. So when you consider the fact that you've got a huge swath of from across the parties, from Republicans, Democrats, Independents, over 20% are ownership of crypto, digital wallets. This is an innovation that is, as Representative Emmer has said, we're in the digital age, and we're only moving there faster and faster. So when you look at younger demographics, when you look at people of color, when you look at rural versus urban, there's not a real divide in terms of who's looking to digital assets, who owns them, and who holds them. Now, again, people vote for many reasons. But I do think that crypto and the lack of movement on crypto regulation gets a lot of airtime, and not just from the industry. And I think people are very frustrated by that. They want to be able to access these assets. They want to know they're doing it in a safe and sound way. They want to know that they're being protected, and they want American companies building in this space. So the answers are very clear in my mind, and that's the reason you're seeing so much, I would argue, outsized attention being paid to this one area.
It's really clear that a lot of crypto money is going to candidates across the floor when you look at the House and the Senate. But back to the Senate for a second, because some of the people that we're talking about here, like Sherrod Brown, have been long-standing lawmakers here that have really overseen the course of financial regulation and innovation for the better part of the last decade or more. So realistically, when you look at that crypto money going in, how much can it move the needle for some of the people that have been there the longest?
Well, again, I think these are complicated questions. And what we're seeing is that even though the Biden administration, look, in 2022, we had the executive order that came down that said, hey, everyone, look, all these agencies, pay attention to this stuff. We want to make sure it's developed responsibly. We want to keep it on shore, and we are tasking folks with taking a look at how to do that. And then you've seen this kind of like weakening, I think, of that stance by the Biden administration. But we've also seen that there has been departure from that. So last week's vote on the CRA on SAB 121, I think, was monumental. You had everyone from Majority Leader Schumer, you had Senator Casey, you had folks that were kind of saying, look, we think it's time to take this stuff seriously. We think that we need to be retaining this innovation space on shore. We need to be looking to protect consumers. And the way to do that historically has been to legislate, right? So I do think you're seeing some, the party's not monolithic on this topic, is what I want to say, right? The party's not monolithic. Everyone has their own mind about this stuff. And we're seeing some of that start to play out in the way people are voting.
Sheila, we've talked a lot about members of the House, members of the Senate, but I'm wondering, going to the top here ahead of the 2024 election. It is an election year, and I'm wondering who is better for the crypto industry. In your view, should it be President Biden or former President Trump come November?
Yeah, Tim, I think that's a big frame on the conversation. Depends if you're looking narrowly or if you're looking broadly. In my mind, I think stability and security of the economy, I think national security of national interests, American interests is really, really important. So people are going to answer that question differently depending on the frame that they're taking.
Which frame do you take?
I take the broadest frame possible. I tend to be a person who looks at the global markets. I tend to think that this is a global industry that operates in a global way. I think that it is pretty clear that when it comes down to the individual candidates and what they have said or not said, or what their administrative agencies have said or not said, I do think that you see President Trump being more overtly and openly supportive of digital assets and crypto than President Biden. But I will also say that until the votes are counted, nothing is in, and there is time to change some of that. We wrote an op-ed, Justin Slaughter and I wrote an op-ed recently that really said, you wouldn't need a ton of movement on the part of Democrats, Democratic Party, or President Biden to turn the tide in terms of crypto voters and how they're feeling about things. It's not that the Democratic Party have to come out and say writ large, this is now part of our platform, we love crypto, it's our favorite thing ever, right? But it would have to be this recognition, I think somewhat at a party level, that this is an important innovation. There's something here that's sticky and we should be paying attention to it.